It's Thursday, April 26th. Welcome to your coffee break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski with latest local news, including a tip from the Canadian Mounted Police leading to an arrest in Norwalk. Kevin Coleman is in for Frank Granito today with your latest forecast and a Nutmeg Sports update. Donna Lang will join us later to take a look back on this day in history, and later on we'll preview our community newspapers out today. But first, emergency crews in Stratford responded to a serious crash on I-95 southbound early this morning. Now, Stratford professional firefighters shared these photos of that rollover and said an extrication was involved. Now, we don't have any additional information on that crash yet, but we'll keep you updated. You can also look for updates at stratfordstar.com. And in other Stratford news, 3 people are homeless after a fire at Garibaldi Avenue home late Tuesday evening. Now, Stratford Fire Marshal Brian Lampart said that the occupants of 84 Garibaldi Avenue called 911 at about 11:45 at night Tuesday to report a fire in the home's basement. Now, firefighters arrived to find heavy smoke and fire venting through a basement window there. Fire crews were able to contain the fire to a small section of the basement. Lampart said the fire appears to have been caused by an extension-type cord that was located under storage that was used to power a sump pump. Now, the cord failed and then ignited a wooden shelving unit, its contents, and parts of the interior framing. Now, no injuries were reported, Lampart said. The home cannot be occupied until those damages can be repaired and then inspections done by a town building official. And a 22-year-old Norwalk man has been arrested for child pornography possession and for allegedly enticing a minor over the internet after Norwalk police received information from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Now, Eddie Zapata of Sunset Road turned himself into Norwalk police on Thursday after 2 warrants were issued for his arrest. Now, in November 2017, the Norwalk Special Victims Unit was contacted by the Department of Homeland Security regarding a referral from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police. Now, RCMP advised that a complaint had been made through their agency alleging inappropriate internet communication between a 13-year-old Canadian female and an adult male who they determined had been living in Norwalk. Now, Norwalk Detective Jim Thompson then assumed that investigation. On January 23rd, a search and seizure warrant was executed on that residence at 11 Suncrest Road in Norwalk. Well, a number of internet devices were seized from the residence during that operation. An analysis of those confirmed that the communication was happening with the 13-year-old female from Canada and also revealed additional internet communications with the 12-year-old female from Florida. Now, Zapata faces several charges, including risk of injury to a minor, possession of child pornography, and enticing a minor by computer. Zapata was being held on a $200,000 bond. And in other news, a wanted fugitive driving a Peterbilt tractor rammed a state police cruiser during an 8-mile chase on I-95 Wednesday afternoon. Now, Hearst, Connecticut media reports that after his truck tires became disabled with stop sticks, that fugitive tried to escape by running across the northbound lanes of I-95. Now, that trucker, identified as 53-year-old Michael Anthony Salvaggi of Somerset, Pennsylvania, was wanted by the FBI on numerous arrest warrants from several states. Now, the incident began around 2:30 in the afternoon Wednesday when Salvaggi's red Peterbilt tractor without a trailer was spotted near I-95 exit 67 in Old Saybrook. Now, according to state police, Salvaggi engaged Old Saybrook police in pursuit as they attempted to pull him over. That pursuit then entered I-95 southbound. Troopers from Troop F in Westbrook then joined that pursuit and eventually assumed primary responsibility. Well, as that pursuit approached exit 62 in Madison, Salvaggi swerved right and intentionally rammed a state police cruiser. Now, the state police cruiser sustained significant damage and that trooper did suffer some minor injuries. Now, a Madison police sergeant who was stationed at the exit 62 ramp deployed stop sticks and successfully managed to blow out the tires of that truck. Now, the fleeing vehicle became disabled a short distance ahead, and Salvaggi attempted to flee on foot by running across the northbound travel lanes of I-95. However, Salvaggi was captured after a brief pursuit. And in other news, Stratford Board of Education member Robert DiLorenzo will return to Bridgeport Superior Court on May 30th to answer to allegations of sexual assault. Now, DiLorenzo's case was moved after one of his attorneys was not in court on Wednesday. Now, DiLorenzo's attorney and the state's attorney's office are waiting for more information, that according to court officials. Now, 45-year-old DiLorenzo was charged on April 5th with fourth-degree sexual assault and risk of injury to a minor. Now, Stratford police say a 13-year-old girl accused DiLorenzo of inappropriately touching her on more than one occasion. Now, in court records, DiLorenzo has denied those allegations. Now, Sean Barrett, DiLorenzo's attorney, did not respond to a message from the Stratford Star seeking comment, but you can look for updates on that story at stratfordstar.com. All right, taking a turn now, we're going to throw it over to Kevin Coleman for a look at your forecast. Kevin.
All right, Kate, look towards this Thursday. Mostly cloudy early, then sunshine this afternoon, a high of 63 tonight. Partly cloudy skies, a low near 45. Move towards tomorrow, which is Friday. Showers early, becoming steady rain later in the day. Thunder even possible during the afternoon hours, a high near 55. On Saturday, partly cloudy skies, slight chance of a rain shower in the mid-afternoon hours, a high near 64. We wrap up the weekend, partly cloudy skies, a high of 52. That'll do it for your weather update. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. And we're going to step out for a break. Come back. Donald Eng will have your look back on this day in history. We have more local news, and Kevin has your Nutmeg Sports update after this.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
UK Gourmet is the largest specialty grocer in the area, featuring food from England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. Over 80 teas to choose from and a brilliant assortment of biscuits to go with them. Over 70 cheeses from grass-fed cows, which makes a smashing difference in taste. The creamiest chocolate you'll ever taste using no artificial colors or preservatives. So say hooray for UK Gourmet, 78 Stony Hill Road in Bethel, or visit ukgourmet.us.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? OrthoConnecticut Walk-In Urgent Care gives you direct access to orthopedic specialists fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, OrthoConnecticut Walk-In Urgent Care can help. Open 7 days a week now at 4 locations: Norwalk, Darien, Westport, and Danbury. Go to myorthoct.com, like them on Facebook.
Create your dream home at Laurel Ridge. 3 bedrooms, 2-car garages, finished basements, wooded and lake views, recreation facilities galore. Stay connected to your local lifestyle with the convenience of being just minutes away from Fairfield County. Luxury townhomes that are smart, elegant, custom, and maintenance-free. Welcome back to this April 26th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to throw it over to Donald Eng for a look back on this date in history. Don.
Well, Kate, if I had to pick a theme for today, it would be incidents in warfare immortalized in art. First, though, beginning with 1805, where U.S. Marines capture the city of Dern in the First Barbary War. Marines under the command of Lieutenant Presley O'Bannon, that's him there in the light blue coat and sash. Now, I say U.S. Marines captured Dern, and while that's technically true, it's also misleading. The 8 men in dark blue coats there represent the entirety of the U.S. Marine force involved in the battle. The other 1,000 or so men involved were about 500 Christian mercenaries and an unknown number of Muslims. The battle is immortalized in the Shores of Tripoli, part of the U.S. Marines hymn. 1865, John Wilkes Booth shot to death by Union cavalry. Now, Booth's original plan was to kidnap Abraham Lincoln, smuggle him to Richmond, and demand the recognition of the Confederacy and the release of Confederate prisoners. But when Union forces captured Richmond, that plan was no longer applicable. Booth is buried in an unmarked grave on the Booth family plot in Baltimore. Tourists there traditionally leave pennies on the marker. Pennies, of course, depict Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side. 1986, explosion at Chernobyl nuclear power plant in what is now Ukraine creates the world's worst ever nuclear disaster. You're looking at a memorial there to the 28 firefighters ordered in without radiation suits to fight the fire. All of them died of acute radiation poisoning over the next couple of weeks. Estimates of the total lives lost due to Chernobyl range from the official estimate of 4,000 to the Greenpeace estimate of 200,000. The Ukrainian government currently enforces a 1,000 square mile exclusion zone around Chernobyl. Unfortunately, the area will not be habitable for another 20,000 years or so. Finally, now we go to 1937 in Spain for this.
In the form of its execution and the scale of the destruction it wrought, no less than in the selection of its objective, the raid on Guernica is unparalleled in military history. Guernica was not a military objective. The object of the bombardment was seemingly the demoralization of the civil population and the destruction of the cradle of the Basque race.
That is on this date, the German Luftwaffe levels the city of Guernica, Spain, in the Basque region. Now, the deliberate targeting of civilians by an air force for the purpose of creating terror horrified the world, although over the next 8 years, the world unfortunately would get used to the idea. Pablo Picasso's painting depicting the bombing, considered one of the most powerful works in art history, currently on display at the National Art Center in Madrid. That is your look back in history for today, April 26th, and I'm Donald Ng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, police in Milford have recovered items stolen from Bobby J's, a bait and tackle shop on New Haven Avenue, on Saturday. Now, the business reported that due to the work of the Milford PD detectives and the help of everyone who shared the Facebook post about that theft, they have found the merchandise that was stolen from the store. Now, the business reports that investigation is still ongoing and no arrests have yet been made. And in other news, Eversource Energy says it is investing $80 million this year in tree trimming and hazardous tree removal to enhance reliability for customers throughout Connecticut. Now, Eversource Vegetation Management Manager Sean Redding said in part that the drought plaguing the region over the last several years may have ended, but the effects are long-lasting and took a toll on trees around the state. He said that consecutive infestations by the gypsy moth and now by the emerald ash borer are adding to the problem. He said that's why identifying and removing hazardous trees is vital. Well, in 2018, Eversource will be trimming trees along more than 4,000 miles of overhead lines around the state. Now, among the 121 communities where tree trimming will be performed this year, some of the most extensive work will be done in Woodstock along 153 miles of electric lines. Now, trees will also be trimmed along 114 miles in Haddam, 110 miles in Danbury, and 100 miles in Greenwich. Now, in addition, pruning will be completed in Cheshire, Killingly, Sharon, and Stamford. Now, Eversource notifies customers in advance if trimming is necessary on their property. And Weston residents will vote on Saturday on the proposed town, school, and capital budgets. Now, the budget referendum for qualified voters is being held on Saturday, April 28th from 9 in the morning to 8 at night, and it's going to be in the meeting room at Weston Town Hall. Now, there are 3 questions on the ballot. Question 1 is, shall the town operating budget for the fiscal year 2018-19 as determined by the annual town budget meeting be approved? Yes or no. Question 2 is, shall the Board of Education operating budget for the next fiscal year be approved? Yes or no. And then the final question, question 3, shall the capital budget for the coming fiscal year be approved? Yes or no. Now, the referendum questions do not have budget numbers because those ballots were printed before the numbers were approved at the annual town budget meeting. But if you want to see those numbers, you can get more on that story at aspetuck.news. And after spending more than 40 years as a music educator devoted to building the Wilton Public School District's music program, Middlebrook band director John Rhodes will be retiring on June 30th. Now, he and fellow band director Frank "Chip" Gowell announced their retirements in 2016. Now, Gowell retired at the end of that school year, but Rhodes said he decided to stay for 2 more years because it didn't feel like the right time. Right now, he said, though, is a better time. Now, Rhodes first started working in Wilton High School's band director in 1974. After 7 years, he took off before serving as Darien High School's music director for 4 years. Well, in 1986, Rhodes returned to Wilton as Middlebrook School band director, and the job eventually expanded to include directing the high school band. Well, there's much more on his career at wiltonbulletin.com. And in Monroe, a tree identification walk led by Park Ranger David Solek is set for this Saturday, April 28th, around Great Hollow Lake in Wolf Park. Now, the outing also marks the 14th consecutive year that Monroe has been designated by the U.S. Arbor Day Foundation as a Tree City USA recognition, limited to only 19 of Connecticut's 169 municipalities, and conferred in part for sound urban forestry management. Well, a limited amount of authentic American chestnuts for planting will also be distributed to participants there. You can get more information on that upcoming walk at monroecourier.com. We're going to throw it back over to Kevin Coleman now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Kevin.
All right, Kate, thank you very much. Lots of postponements last night due to the heavy rain throughout the day yesterday, but we did get some lacrosse. Let's go over to Fairfield Ludlow as the Falcons took down the Stanford Black Knights 14-5. Oliver Lay had 4 goals and 3 assists. Aiden Wyckoff continuing to have a big season, 3 goals, 1 assist. Alex Berg tallied 3 goals and an assist, and Quinn Thompson 2 goals and 2 assists. We move down over to Greenwich now. Brunswick, they improved to 10-0 as they beat the Hill Academy 14-8. Brunswick entered the highly anticipated matchup ranked number 3 in the Under Armour and Inside Lacrosse National Poll, while Hill was ranked 2nd. After the game, the entire student section ran onto the field as Brunswick won the game. And speaking of lacrosse in Greenwich, the HAN Network will be live from Greenwich High School today for FCIAC Boys Lacrosse as the Cardinals will host New Canaan Rams at 4:30. Join myself, Frank Granito, and John Kovach at 4:15 for all your pregame coverage. That'll do it for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. And we're going to step out for a break, come back. John Kovach joins me here to preview our front pages this week after this.
Want a new experience in car buying? No aggravation, no confrontation, just answers to all your questions. SCAP Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Car buying the way you want it to be. With one of the largest selections of new 2- and 4-door Jeep Wranglers available, we are Connecticut's Wrangler headquarters. Family owned and operated for over 50 years. Call, click, or stop in today. Save thousands right now at the Spring Sales Event, now through April 30th.
Winter's finally in the rearview mirror, and the Dock Shop is ready to help you usher in our favorite season, summer. We've got new offerings in our usual products: clothing, jewelry, home decor, fishing tackles, and boating supplies. And now the Dock Shop does in-house laser engraving. You can add a name, a boat name, latitude, longitude, an image to drinkware, serving platters, boards, or decorative accessories. No minimum, fast turnaround. Stop in today and start your summer. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, dockshop.com.
If you've ever thought about owning a motor coach or learning about what it's like to travel the open road in superior style and comfort, then contact Dave's RV Center in Danbury, Connecticut. Offering the best quality Class A motorhomes from Newmar, travel trailers and fifth wheel lines from Surveyor, and a toy hauler line from Work and Play. Choose from Newmar's Gas Line, Baystar and Canyon Star, or from Newmar's Diesel Line, Ventana and Dutch Star. And with unparalleled service and maintenance, Dave's RV is committed to keeping you and your motor coach safely on the road and enjoying it to the fullest. Stop by their showroom, 2 Industrial Plaza Road, Danbury, Connecticut, or call 877-483-3866. If you've ever...
Welcome back to this Thursday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, joined by John Kovach now to preview the front pages of our newspapers this week. John, what are you looking at first?
I'm looking at the Reading Pilot, where we have a student walkout involving Joel Barlow High School. News that Tony Boucher is dropping out of the race for governor, and the Frog Frolic coming up this Saturday at Reading Community Center.
All right, taking a look at the Trumbull Times. This is a story actually written by Greg Riley, our New Canaan Advertiser editor, but kind of covering a recent GOP candidates debate, those running for governor, including former First Selectman Tim Herbst. We also have some photos from Tidy Up Trumbull of some folks donating their time there. Officials paying tribute to former First Selectman James Butler, who passed away on April 18th. And more on covering a Herbst gubernatorial bid. Is he a front-runner according to some of his internal numbers? He is.
In Shelton, news that graduation will be returning to Shelton High School. There was talk it would have to be moved to Ansonia due to renovations at Finn Stadium. Coverage of the Housatonic River cleanup, Shelton one of the sites for that, and a look at how mentorship can change a student's life.
All right, looking at the Milford Mirror this week, Democrat Brian Anderson will not challenge Rosa DeLaura for the 3rd Congressional District seat. Also, some duck pond restoration happening in Milford. The city also targeting mosquitoes. Right now, the health department working on that. And some students at West Shore Middle School winning an award for a project-based learning called Zombie Apocalypse. So
you really cannot escape the zombies.
Yeah, no, you can't. Kids are into it, you know.
Truly can't. In Easton, the Board of Education looking to make the final $100,000 in cuts to the coming budget.
All right, looking at the Stratford Star, parents asking to please slow down on some busing changes that are proposed there. Some more great photos of some cleanup that happened last Saturday along the Housatonic. Stratford among nominees for a federal opportunity zone. More on that. Stratford Bunnell graduation ceremony set for June 14th, and Curran Volkswagen seeking to expand its dealership.
New Canaan Police Chief Leon Krolikowski discussed the causes of domestic violence during an event there. The town is looking to possibly acquire a historic home via eminent domain. A number of events, including caffeine and carburetors to fishing derby and Earth Day, all covered in this week's New Canaan Advertiser.
All right, taking a look at the Ridgefield Press this week. Schools now considering pausing their change to school start times that they were going to implement next year. More on that. Also a story we've talked about here, and that's students walking out last week for stricter gun laws. This is a national movement actually organized by a Ridgefield student. Nature Center welcoming a new director as well, and spring programs including tree talk, invasive plant removal.
A Weston author has written, we all know, Goodnight Moon. How about Goodnight Kim Jong-un? And we have a profile of author Liz Fuller of Weston. Also, the budget referendum, as you just mentioned here on Coffee Break, is Saturday in Weston.
All right, taking a look at the Wilton Bulletin this week. The annual town meeting is planned for May 1st, and there will be some procedural changes, so more on that in the Wilton Bulletin. Also a nice photo of a recent carnival at the Millard Driscoll School, that by Brian Hafely. And Cannon Road decision put off. This has been a controversial proposal for an 8-lot subdivision. That is on hold right now.
The Darien Times take a look at the top paid municipal and school employees. We had a coastal cleanup there. Students in Darien also participating in the walkout, and more news on the Ox Ridge field usage that is an open space acquisition by the town of Darien.
All right, looking at the Monroe Courier this week, some solutions proposed for Wheeler Road and the Route 110 intersection. A lot of accidents there, so officials discussing ways they could move ahead with fixing that. Also, a memorial honoring veterans continues to grow. That's in front of Town Hall in Monroe. And some latest playground plans in the works for Wolf Park to give that a new look.
Also in the Monroe Courier is our Monroe special section. Everything you want to know about that town.
All right, arts and leisure, a lot of great stuff in there. Just taking a quick look, the Connecticut Ballet, a nice feature on that on their blend of classical and modern dances. We also have, in the food section, noodles and nuts.
You just didn't want me to read noodles and nuts.
Noodles and nuts, yeah, I decided I'd take that one, John.
That's what, I see what's going on here.
All right, John, well, those are our front pages this week. Yankee Fisherman's coming up at 1 o'clock.
We are going to talk to the executive director of the American Museum of Fly Fishing. They are celebrating their 50th anniversary, have a big event in New York City coming up next week. We are also going to take a look back at some Earth Day activities, and we will have news on some other events, including the news about Bobby J's stolen merchandise being recovered and a GoFundMe for an angler and student who's been diagnosed with cancer. All that at 1.
Very cool. And you're also going to be helping out this afternoon with the sports guys, right?
4:30 will be coming to you from Greenwich, where the New Canaan Rams will visit the Cardinals in FCIAC Boys Lacrosse.
All right. Thanks so much, John. We're going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. We'll see you tomorrow with the latest local news and more. Have a great day.